Welcome to the Bending the Bracket podcast. Here are your hosts, Ben Madison and Lane Smith.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bending the Bracket. I am your host, Ben Madison, alongside my co-host, Lane Smith, as always. Lane, how are you, sir?
Doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a good week. It's so weird not to have Thursday night football tonight.
I know. It has been a good week, though. It's kind of got a time to refresh. You're kind of going to miss football a little bit when Sunday gets here. So
I know. But, I mean, I got the trade-off. I got the Tuesday night game, which was actually a pretty good game.
It really was.
Tennessee ran away with it. And so I got to open with this. I was wrong on the Tennessee Titans. You tried to tell me, and I didn't listen. I thought last year was an outlier. I thought they were going to be a 7-9 team this year, kind of fall back to reality. They blew the doors off of the Buffalo Bills Tuesday night, and they did that on both sides of the ball. And I was wrong on Tennessee. They're an excellent football team.
They are. And, I was wrong in a sense, too, because I told everybody that would listen, Buffalo was going to run away with that game. And on paper, they had every reason to run away with that game. Tennessee has not practiced in 2 weeks. They have not had an organized team activity in 2 weeks. There is no way they should have won that game. And to do what they did, and with that performance Tuesday night was among the most impressive things I've seen in the NFL this season. 42-16, they just absolutely mopped the floor with the Bills. I think there's questions about the Bills, Josh Allen. I mean, I was really high on Josh Allen, and now I'm just kind of sitting here scratching my head. I don't know what that was that I saw Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think that shows you that he is still human, which is fine. I think he was playing out of his mind, and I think he's still really good. I don't think we take that away from him. But I think that maybe we anointed him a little too early. We tried to put him up as into the super elite class, and he's still got a little growing to do. But what I took away from this game, in short, was you look at Ryan Tannehill's performance: 21 of 28, 195 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, a 129 passer rating. That is efficiency. If you look up the definition of efficiency in the dictionary, you should see Ryan Tannehill's picture, because that was the perfect game for him, the perfect game for what Tennessee wants to do as a team. And even though Derrick Henry only ran for 57 yards, their defense stepped up. And like I said, they're a great team, all units, special teams is included.
No, they are. And the defense was surprising. Malcolm Jenkins even got an interception the other night. He's really not been much since he got to Tennessee. So it's good to see him play well. Like you said, Tannehill, though, you can't say enough about Ryan Tannehill. I don't think people understand it. He was written for dead. I mean, when he left Miami, nobody thought he would be anything other than a backup quarterback somewhere in a lame team, just waiting for an opportunity. And he jumped right into Tennessee and almost instantly made them a contender. Vrabel has been unbelievable. There's not enough you can say about his coaching performance the last couple of seasons. And Derrick Henry is a monster, absolute just monster. He runs through deep people. He runs through defenses. I'm glad I'm not trying to tackle him.
Yeah, he is huge. And I want to say he's listed as 6'2", 230. If he's 6'2", 230, then I'm 7 feet tall. That guy is 6'4", and he's probably pushing 260. Easy. And there's nothing but muscle. No. I mean, that guy's intimidating. It's crazy.
It's a lineman playing run back. I mean, it's nuts.
It really is. It's like Jadeveon Clowney playing running back. It's crazy. But this team is great. I don't take too much away from Buffalo, because I think good teams can still get blown out. There's an exception, of course, if the Seattles, the New Englands, they really never get blown out. But your normal class of the NFL, even some of the better teams in that class, they do get blown out from time to time. So it's going to tell me how good this team is when they play Kansas City Monday night. That game, of course, was supposed to be tonight, but it's been moved because obviously the Bills couldn't play 2 games within 48 hours. So that's the one I'm looking forward to. That's the one I'm really looking forward to.
No, yeah, me too. It's going to be a great game. And it'd be interesting to see how the Bills bounce back from a tough loss like that. Because they got embarrassed. There's no two ways about it. They got absolutely manhandled. and they need to make a strong performance Monday to show people they're still alive. I don't know. I looked at the Bills schedule trying to rationalize this somehow. Maybe they played a weak schedule up until now, but they've really played good teams every week. So they've been contested and they've been battled, and they just I don't know. I just that score shocks me. Just considering the lack of practice and preparation that Tennessee had.
Right. And I think what played well to that for Tennessee is with the way they game plan and the way they play, it's really pretty simple. We play efficient football, we run the ball, we let Tannehill be everything he is and nothing he's not. We play off the play action, and that's it. And that doesn't really, I mean, once you establish that that's what you want to do, there's not a lot you really have to do. Of course, practice helps and all that, but they were able to keep communication through Zoom meetings and that sort of thing. So I think that probably played well for them versus a really complicated offense that some teams run.
Yeah, no, it did, and I think that some teams really still do underestimate the Titans, kind of like you did. I think this. I mean, I don't. People last year, me included, kind of thought that was a one-time deal. I mean, them going to the AFC Championship, and I don't think people really took that seriously. And then they're doing the same thing again this year, and so it's been, people are just now starting to wake up to the Titans in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think that probably part of my grudge against the Titans that I've finally decided to let go because forgiveness is the key to happiness, right? So they lost me some money against New England in the playoffs last year, and then I doubled down and they lost me more money against Baltimore. So that
Yeah, I
didn't that
remember
didn't
that.
sit well with me, and I just
Yeah.
thought this team does not belong here. You looked at the final four teams and you're like, one of these things is not like the other.
I do remember that. That was, yeah. I remember you were so mad when that happened.
Yeah, I was like, this Baltimore, take my money. Take my
Right.
money. I
Yeah.
mean, that Baltimore team
Yeah.
was so good. They got
And we were so sure. I think we were more sure with New England because it was Tom
oh,
Brady. They were
oh
at
yeah.
home. I mean, there was a can't miss.
I think it was even you that said when I was talking about that last year and you said, well, Tennessee has a shot. And I said, in what world? They're playing in New England on a Saturday night where
Right.
teams go to die in the
Yes.
postseason. So I one day I'll listen. One day I will listen.
But I would look if I had money on the game, I'd have gone to England too. I mean, the safe money was going to New England for sure.
For sure. Absolutely. So we'll see. I'm excited. The bad thing about not having, or the bright side rather of not having a game tonight is we get a double header on Monday yet again, which I love. I love having two Monday
I
night
can't
games.
get enough of these.
I think the way the league could appease fans and also appease players and the players union would be to have this instead of Thursday night football. Say we're going to have two games on Monday night, and that way you don't have to play on 3 days rest, and everyone's happy.
You're right. Yeah, I think that's yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't like the 3 days rest. I know the players don't either. Uh, look, the beginning of the season, they always had two Monday night games, and
Right. It's
I don't know
always
why
that
we
way.
can't do that every week.
Yeah, and I would even argue that the players would prefer to have a Tuesday night game instead of a Thursday night game. I know it's a little late to close out the week of football, but it's right back up to the Monday night game versus having to play Thursday. So
Well, you'd have to figure out some way to schedule it because you don't want teams playing Sunday coming back Tuesday.
right, it would have to be teams that were going to play maybe the Monday night game the following week. It would
Yeah,
still
yeah,
be on 6 days, but it's a lot better than
yeah.
5 days. So
Right.
there's no good way to do it when you have games, anytime during the week. Any weekday games are going to be short rest games. So,
But the NFL. There's a way to make these Thursday games more exciting. The NFL, for whatever reason, just can't figure it out. I mean, there's an easy way to sit down and figure, okay, well, let's have this team go into their bye week playing Thursday night football.
right,
But you can't make that the Dolphins and the Jaguars.
right.
I mean, come on. Give
Yeah.
me Tennessee and Buffalo.
I'm pretty sure the way that they design Thursday night football scheduling is they sit down and they say the two crappiest teams this week, that are
Yeah.
playing each other is going to be the Thursday night game.
It seems like
That
and nobody's
Chicago,
watching.
that Chicago and Tampa game last week was the first really good Thursday night game I can remember in a long time.
Well, they had one. Was it a couple weeks ago? They've had another one this year. I can't remember the two teams, but it was decent.
Decent, yeah, it's decent.
Yeah,
But I mean
right.
that Tampa game is possibly two playoff teams playing, and it was good for Thursday night football. They needed it.
At least Thursday night football is looking more like football. When they first started, the first couple of years were brutal.
Oh yeah,
you could tell they didn't want to be there. You could tell the players didn't want to play, and there was not a lot of points being scored. It was awful to watch. So they have gone up from that.
Yeah, you would have like a 13-9 game.
Yes.
And it would be like the Rams and the
terrible
Seahawks or something. It wouldn't be that kind of matchup, but it would be those kind of teams that normally score 30 points, and you're like, okay, they really don't care to be here.
It's kind of like watching a Pro Bowl every week.
Oh, the Pro Bowl is unwatchable.
I absolutely
cannot watch it. They should do away with the Pro Bowl. It's nothing but a way to hurt your players.
Yep.
You just the Pro Bowl is
it's useless,
outdated,
yep.
useless.
I would want to go and open up. Cam Newton activated off the COVID reserve list, rejoining the Patriots today. So he'll be ready to play Denver on Monday.
Denver fans everywhere kicking their
rest in peace, Denver Broncos, because it's over.
Yeah,
he's coming out with something to prove, and they're at home. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. It doesn't matter if Drew Lock or Joe Montana.
John Elway.
Yeah, John Elway comes back. Gonna say maybe they trade for a 67-year-old Joe Montana or something like that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, the line is New England by 10. That seems like a lot. I know it's a mismatch, but
I'll take it all day. I'll take it.
Line in the NFL.
I'll take it. I think New England not being able to play last week. Cam Newton, he's itching to play. I like New England.
I probably wouldn't put money on this, honestly. I don't know if it's just that I think the Rippin kid is better if he plays than Drew Lock. I don't know what it is. That line just seems so high to me.
I'm not. Are they starting Rippin, or are they going Drew Lock, or is it still up in the air?
I heard today it was up in the air. I think that Lock would still be the presumable starter. It was amazing to me when we watched Rippin. What was his first name? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
I think it's Brett, isn't it?
Brett. Yes, his uncle was Mark, right?
Yeah, right.
So his first start, it looked like Tony Romo from 2006. I mean, making these crazy throws, then making these stupid picks. And it was kind of all over the place, but you're like, man, this kid has potential to play,
right?
Be good,
right?
And so, if I'm Denver, who has been searching for their quarterback for forever, you got to just let the kid play, because I
agree.
I don't think Drew Lock is going to be anything to write home about. I think he's another safe Tyrod Taylor type quarterback who can manage the game and maybe win with a great team, but he's not going to do anything to win you ball games.
Well, I don't think we've seen anything from Drew Lock that just has to make him the starter. I don't understand what they're doing there, but I have not understand what the Denver Broncos are doing at the quarterback position for several years. So that's not the first time. But Rippin, to me, was should be a starter in this league, and you could do worse. They've done worse, so why not? Oh,
they've done way worse than Brock Osweiler, not to name any names. But yeah. Flacco. I mean, that's one thing that is just it baffles me. What happened to Joe Flacco? I mean, he was on top of the world, and then just to nothing, just fell off the face of the earth. He lost his confidence, he lost his touch, and he was done.
I never believed him. I thought the contract was a joke. I never saw him as a top quarterback in this league. I never considered him that way. I think he had 1 year that he played out of his mind. He played really well, got a ring. But he came back to earth. I think this is what Joe Flacco really is.
Maybe so. I don't know. But that 1 year that they won the Super Bowl, he had a great run.
Yeah, he did.
He had a great arm, strong arm.
Yep.
So maybe I bought too much stock in Flacco, but I still think I still don't know how he fell off so quickly.
Yeah, it's one of those mysteries. I was never real high on him, and I'm not surprised to see where he's at now. But I just that contract at the time was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was more of a desperation move.
Yeah,
I thought that they were so convinced they had their guy.
coming off the ring.
And
Yes, it's hard not to.
and oh yeah, I mean it's in a league where, what did Garoppolo get for making 4 or 5
Right?
successful
Yeah,
starts in
yeah.
San Francisco? It's like you really just had to have to show up and say, "Hey, I'm a quarterback," and that gets you about 26 million right there, and then from there you can get dressed. But it's it's crazy.
I
So
got a hot take on
um,
Garoppolo.
you got a hot take on
Hot
Garoppolo.
take on
He's
Garoppolo.
going to be. Oh no, go ahead. I don't even want to try to guess.
I don't believe he will be the quarterback in San Francisco next year.
I think that's a growing opinion. Actually, I've heard that from a couple of people, and uh, I can't say that you're wrong. I mean, it's
Yeah, I don't see anything he fits that system. I don't think Kyle Shanahan is a believer in him, and I think they're ready to either draft his own guy or hey, his Matt Ryan might be available.
see that's what I heard, and I was gonna say I definitely wouldn't take credit for it because I heard it. I want to say from Joel Klatt, uh, and he was talking about the NFL, oddly enough, but he said Matt Ryan would be an excellent fit in San Francisco, and he's not wrong. When you look at him and Shanahan's history, he would fit that offense like a glove.
He would, but I don't know how much would you get out of him? I mean, how many years would you get out of him?
Well, he's what, 36 or 35?
30, I think he's 36 or
He's
37.
36. So I mean, you give him a 4-year deal, right? You give him a 4-year deal, heavy on the front end, and see how it goes. But you're not going to pay him 35 million a year. But I mean,
Well, here's the other thing with
I would
that
pay.
is he just signed a $150 million contract with the Falcons 2 years ago.
Right, which is too much, obviously,
Oh yeah,
and he hasn't really done a lot in 4 years. So
right. So what did San Francisco pick up that contract? I don't think they would.
no, you can't pick up a contract on a 36-year-old quarterback in this
Right.
league unless their name is Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers,
Rodgers.
or when Russ is 36, or maybe
Yes.
when Mahomes is 36. Other than that, I mean, there's so many young, talented quarterbacks. You don't dream of burning money like that on a has-been.
No.
I mean,
No.
you just don't.
No, you don't. And I don't know what they'll do. That contract is going to be a point of contention, though, wherever he goes. And I don't think he'll be in Atlanta next year.
Yeah, even if they're not in the running for Trevor Lawrence, you have Trevor Lawrence, you have Justin Fields, you have the young kid from North Dakota State, which his name escapes me right now. You have some options. So I don't, the Falcons are probably not going to win more than 2 or 3 games. So yeah, if you get that high draft pick, you absolutely move off of Matt Ryan. So
I think either way you move off of him.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm higher on Matt Ryan than you.
And Julio Jones.
That's tough. That's the team,
He's
man.
injured.
That's the
I
team.
mean, yeah, but he stays injured. He's been inconsistent. He's not scoring the touchdowns he used to score. He's not getting the yards he used to get.
Yeah. Now you've got a point. I mean, the window on that offense
It's
is
closed.
it's closed. I'm not going to say that it's nailed shut yet, but the hammer is in the hand.
Yes.
And unless they just got the perfect coach, I don't think they're going to do anything because, age has caught up with them, like you said.
Right.
So we'll have to see how that goes. But we got way off the Denver Broncos path on quarterbacks.
Yeah,
But
we did.
to close that out, yeah, for all of Elway's brilliance and from a GM perspective, he has not been able to get the quarterback right.
No, he hasn't. And it's amazing to me. He had Peyton Manning, and I think everybody assumed that that was just the beginning. He would let Manning retire and he'd go out and get another great quarterback. And he has not done that at all.
Yeah, I
And
mean, with the exception of Manning, he's never had a good quarterback before
right.
or after. So uh, Peyton got him a ring and made him look real good.
And so, how many years does that ring get you? Because at some point, you got to start questioning Elway.
2 more years.
Really? You think 2 more?
I think 2 more. I think that I think he can get away with. Let's see, this is Fangio's second year, right?
Yeah.
Right. So they win 4 or 5 games this year. Fangio goes. They bring in one more coach. That coach fails as well, then it's going to come back to John Elway. But I think they're going to let him fire one more coach, and that's not because of his GM abilities. That's because his name is John Elway, and he won 2
Yeah.
rings there as a player. So,
Because he's that Super Bowl was what, 5 years ago?
yes, no, yes. Let's see, 15. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 5
So I
years
mean,
ago.
God, he got that long
Right.
too.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
And
and
if
really
he
haven't
gets
done
2 more
anything
years,
since. And
no.
look, Tim Tebow took him to the playoffs by mistake and
Yeah. And
somehow
then
won a playoff game against the worst Pittsburgh Steelers, playoff
Elway
team
dogged
ever.
him for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
Figure that one out.
Yeah, so his days are numbered.
Oh yeah.
He may get one more firing. Fangio is going to be out after this year, regardless, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think he's probably nearing the end for sure.
Yeah. Cincinnati and Indy, this game -8. Not trusting that line at all. Indy is so up and down. Yeah, their defense is good. Indy's defense is great, and we saw Cincinnati struggle mightily against a great Baltimore defense. So you have to think that Cincinnati's going to have some trouble moving the ball. But Indianapolis, like I said, they're just inconsistent on offense, and Burrow has been. If Burrow gets opportunities, he makes the most of them. And Baltimore didn't give him anything to work with. So you don't know what to expect. But Cincinnati could make this game close. I don't think they'll win it, but they can make it close.
Yeah, I think the line's too big, honestly. I think this is one of those games that Joe Burrow can win you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Cincinnati has a chance. Do I think they will win? Probably not. But it wouldn't surprise me in the least if they did win. I don't trust Philip Rivers at all, and I think he's absolutely a liability for the Colts. The longer this season goes on, the more I believe that. And so I really worry about the Colts long term because of Philip Rivers and his inability to move and his inability to take care of the football.
I agree with that. There's already been some whisper about Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know why you bothered to pay Philip Rivers as much as you did when you already had Jacoby Brissett. I don't see what Rivers has done in the last 3 to 5 years that would have led them to believe that he was an upgrade over Jacoby Brissett.
well, I don't think. I mean, I don't think they got what they wanted out of Brissett last year. And Philip Rivers was a proven quarterback, a veteran that would bring him that leadership in the locker room. And they were hoping they can get more out of him than what he showed with the Chargers last year. But they're not getting
No,
that.
they're not. And
It's
I think it's
more the
because, yeah,
same.
exactly. And look, I know the whole leadership in the locker room thing is important, but I think that's one of the most overblown, overused phrases in sports. I think if the player can play at a high level, that's worth way more than a voice in the locker room. Cowboys fans tell me it's not the same because Jason Witten is no longer a voice in the locker room. It's like Jason Witten had nothing left in the tank. Okay.
Right. There's a difference, though. There's a difference. The Cowboys have a bunch of veterans on that team. It's not just Witten.
Okay.
The Colts are a very young
Well,
team.
true.
So that could bringing him into that veteran voice does make a difference because he might be the only veteran voice there.
Well, I would agree with that, although he's not. But my point is, if they had a young quarterback or if they'd had Cam Newton, who is not perceived as the mature leader that Philip Rivers is,
Right.
if he's performing, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So that's my point. But I do see yours as well. So yeah, I think that the Rivers signing, I think this will be a 1-year thing, and
Yes.
he'll be out, and they're a quarterback away. I mean, they have the coach,
No, they
they
are.
have the
Yep.
staff, they have the offensive line, the defense. They're good. They just need the quarterback. So
Let me say this: that team got back quick.
they
Too.
did.
I mean, they
They
were
did.
decimated, and they needed a lot. And they went out and got everything needed. I think in a span of about 2 years.
I think the
So
best thing that happened to the Indianapolis Colts, and I think within 2 or 3 years you're going to see this come to fruition, is Josh McDaniels turning that plane around. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Frank Reich is a much better head coach than Josh McDaniels will ever be.
yeah, I don't. I'm interested to see McDaniels get another coaching job just because I think he was young and made a lot of mistakes in Denver, and I would love to see what he does these years later, and how he turns it
Do
around.
you give him a job? I'm not even making that call. After what
Oh,
he
he'll get a
did to
job.
Indianapolis, there is no
No, he'll get
shot
a
I would
job.
make that phone call.
He'll get a job. He's already been in, his name's already been mentioned for several jobs.
Well, his name
So
is always mentioned for several jobs, though, just like John
right.
Gruden's name was always mentioned for several jobs when he had no intention of coaching at the time. It's called good public relations, people.
I mean, I think, yeah, I think people assume that he's going to take over from Belichick, but Belichick doesn't show any signs of slowing down. So I'm not sure if that's actually the case.
I don't see why he turns his Colts job down after accepting it and going back if that wasn't the deal, or if that was some kind of long-term agreement with Bob Kraft. I just can't see another way in which you would do that to a team.
I didn't think. I'm with you on that. I thought if it was going to happen, it would happen, a year or two, and we're year 3 or 4 since then. I don't remember. I think it's year 3. And Belichick said he's showing no signs of slowing down. I don't see him stepping down after this year. Do you?
I don't know. I think he's probably got at least 3 years left, and he'll
At
probably
least.
coach until Brady stops playing, if nothing else, than to just
Yep.
outlast him.
That would be
And
Belichick.
so we'll see how that goes. But to me, he's totally winning that divorce. I don't want to get too far off on that topic, but so far so good for Bill Belichick. He hasn't really missed a beat.
No, he hadn't. Yeah, I'm sure another day we'll be able to talk about that. But I'm with you on that.
So an NFC North battle that I am really looking forward to, and normally growing up, I see
Yes.
this matchup. This is not a game I would turn on because it would be like 42-3 Pittsburgh. I mean, it was essentially a
Right.
practice
Right.
game for the Steelers because they've been great
Right.
forever and Cleveland's been bad forever.
Oh yeah.
But this one is different.
Yeah.
This is Cleveland at Pittsburgh. The line is Pittsburgh -3, 3.5 maybe. I like Cleveland in this game, and I like them a lot.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh in this game. I like the way they're playing. Their defense is better. Uh, Roethlisberger, I think, has shown to have a lot still in the tank. Uh, so I don't know. I think Cleveland will give them a game. It'll be close. I think 1 to 3 points. But give me Pittsburgh.
You'll take Pittsburgh. Okay. Well, I'll take Cleveland, and I think that's probably going to be one of my deadlocks. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm really feeling strong about it. Probably foolishly strong, and recency bias and everything else since Cleveland's won 4 in a row. But I still have a little concern with Pittsburgh. I think they've played a overly weak schedule so far. So it's going to be interesting to see because, as new as winning is for this Cleveland team, if that phrase makes any sense, it's almost like they've been doing it a while. And I know Stefanski has just changed the culture so quickly there, but it's like every week I expect them to take that step back and get back into form as the Cleveland Brown losers, and they're not doing it. And it's just like Tennessee for me. Every week I was thinking, okay, they're going to fall back. They're going to fall back. Well, they haven't fallen back. And we may just have to get used to a league where the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns are both good teams.
I've always said Tennessee or the Cleveland is going to be a good team. I think I had them 10-6 going into the year, and I think the Cowboys they stole that game. So I'm thinking 11-5 now.
This game will tell the tale. This game will tell you if
Yep.
they belong in division contention or if they're a nice story that might be a 6 or 7 seed.
But here's the reason I'm high on Pittsburgh for this game. It's in Pittsburgh. I know there's no fans and all that, but Pittsburgh's different. It doesn't fans are not. It's just that environment, that city. It's just different.
Sure.
And if Pittsburgh was at Cleveland, I might feel a little different, but I feel real strong on Pittsburgh.
There you go. We'll see who's right and who's wrong.
Yep.
So speaking of the Tennessee Titans, they're going to host the Houston Texans this weekend. Sans Bill O'Brien, which is, of course, they're winning now. They're officially on a streak of 1.
Well, of course they are.
Your thoughts on Bill? No, I'm kidding. We're going to leave that alone. I think people probably got a little burned out on that. But I miss him. I'm not going to lie. I miss him because now I could talk about the Houston Texans and actually talk about their boring football program. But they have a great quarterback in Deshaun Watson. This game is Tennessee -3. I like Houston in this game. I actually do, which is kind of weird because I've been talking up Tennessee now for 30 minutes. But the thing that concerns me is they're coming off a big game. They are going to be at home again. But I just, I don't know. Maybe it's just my doubt in Tennessee creeping back in. But I think Houston has a real shot in this game.
If Houston plays like they did last week, they got a shot against anybody. They spread that offense out. They used multiple receivers. Their running game got going a little bit, and Watson was comfortable. So I think if Watson gets protection up front, and if his receivers are playing like they did last week, yeah, I could see Houston having a good game. But it's at Tennessee. I don't know. I'm really conflicted on this. I see what you're saying, and I tend to agree, but it's hard to deny what I saw Tuesday night.
Understood. And I think if nothing else, this will be a competitive game. I don't think Tennessee is going to blow them out like they did Buffalo.
No.
Because if they do, then holy hell, then they're on the level of Kansas City pretty much, or Baltimore.
Right.
Which
is right where we thought they'd be when the season started.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And the power rankings, the Titans 1, the Bills 2, Cleveland 3. This is why we love the game and watch the game, because you never know.
Yep.
So that line is Tennessee -3. I think it's right where it needs to be. Obviously, Vegas sees a close game as well, or it would be a higher line. So that one is should be a good game. I'm really looking forward to watching that game.
This next one's game of the week.
It's a game of the week. It's the Green Bay Packers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Love it.
It's Tom against Aaron.
Yep.
The line is Green Bay -1, which is essentially a push. Nope. I mean, it's just there's no other way to say it. You like Tampa in this game, don't you?
Love Tampa in this game. If they were Tom Brady, I feel like got embarrassed a little bit the other night with forgetting what down it was, whatever happened in that fourth quarter. And he's heard about it for 2 weeks now. And I think he is seething, ready to get out there and prove something. And I like Tampa a lot in this game. And they're at home.
The thing that's going to be interesting to watch is going to be Aaron Rodgers against that Tampa Bay defense. Because every defense that Aaron Rodgers has faced this year in their 4-0 start, the defenses have been horrible.
Yep.
I want to say that the best ranked defense was 26th. I mean, he's literally played the bottom feeders of defenses. So that I want to see if that really is the reason they're scoring so many points per game, or if it's just a coincidence.
Well, what's the Saints defense ranked at? I don't even know.
I don't have it in front of me.
It seems like they'd be better in bottom tier. I know they're not great. It seems like they'd be higher.
They're definitely mid to late 20s.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're that bad.
They are.
Jeez.
I'll have to check on it. 24th, I want to say. 24th, wow. 26th.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what that is. But look, Tampa is a second-ranked defense right now. So, we'll see. I still like Green Bay in this game. I really do. I think that it'll be a close game. I don't really see a shootout happening. I could be wrong. I'm feeling Green Bay in a 27-24 type way.
I like Tampa to roll. I like them to win by 10 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that will be interesting to see. Yeah, 10 points. Okay. Well, we'll bet. What do you want to bet on it? 100,000?
Yeah, sure. Put me down for that.
100,000?
100,000, yeah.
100,000. The game we discussed earlier, Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. The original Thursday night game has been moved to Monday night, 5 p.m. I don't like that early of a start because I don't think many people are home yet, but it is what it is. I get their point.
I know why they got to do it.
I know why they do it, because they want to get as much of that game in before the other game starts as they can.
Right.
Which still, you're probably still looking at about an hour of overlap if I had to guess.
Probably, yeah.
But Kansas City -3.5. Pretty low line in my opinion. Kansas City coming off a loss, Buffalo coming off a loss. Something has to give in this game. As I mentioned, this is really going to tell you if Buffalo is a contender or a pretender. Because if they can play close, I'm not even going to say they have to beat Kansas City, because I think there's really no one in the world who would blame them for losing a close game to the Chiefs, to the world champion Chiefs, especially after coming off of the Tennessee game. But if they go out there and they get pummeled again, then it's going to quickly turn right back around to, well, Josh Allen is good, and Buffalo is good, but.
Right. No, I agree with that. I think this, I do. This game is tough. I think Kansas City has to have this game, though.
It's a hard game to get a handle on, and nothing would surprise me in this game.
I think it's more important for Buffalo because I don't think anybody, even if they lose 2 in a row, I don't think anybody's questioning Chiefs.
I think you're probably right, but I think that you have to at some point. I think whoever loses this game, you're going to have question marks. Now, are they going to be to the extent of the Buffalo question marks? Of course not. but there's still going to be the question marks.
Well, I mean, Kansas City is going cross country to Buffalo, so you could say, yeah, they had a home loss against the Raiders. They had to go cross country to Buffalo, different environment. You could, you chalk it up to anything you want. I feel like if Buffalo, they drop it again in Tennessee, and then you go home and drop that game to Kansas City, that's a bad
Oh,
look.
yeah, I think for reputation purposes, you're right. I think it's Buffalo that needs this game more. But regardless of who loses this game, they're going to be fine. I mean, quite honestly, because Buffalo had a 2-game lead on New England going into this weekend. So they lose again, and it'll be a 1 game. But the Chiefs are going to win the West. I mean, the Raiders, I just cannot imagine them hanging around to give them any kind of fight. The Chargers, of course, are the greatest team ever, who always has the worst record in the division, basically. And then Denver is nothing. So the Chiefs are going to win the West, and they could honestly lose 5 in a row and probably still win the division. So I have to say you're right on this.
Yeah, the Raiders frustrate me just because we're going to week 6 and we still don't really know anything of how good that team is. But Kansas City is fine. They're going to win that division, like you said. But you would start sounding the alarm if Kansas City won a division with 5 losses.
Oh, for sure.
You'd be a little concerned.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I don't think that's going to be an issue. I still think they're going to be a 13-win team, 13 wins and maybe 14 wins.
Absolutely.
And we'll see how it goes. So if I had to pick a team in this game, it's Kansas City. I mean, there's just no way to pick against them. Sorry.
Right.
Not against Buffalo.
Right. No, I like Kansas City too much. Just about anybody.
So moving on, Arizona at Dallas is the actual original Monday night game, and the game that's still going to happen Monday night. Arizona, a 2-point favorite. It's real close. I mean, it's a low line on this one. It's going to be Kyler Murray. I anticipate Kyler Murray is going to shred the Dallas defense into oblivion. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Dallas still wins the game comfortably, though. I think they win by 5 points or more.
Really?
I love Dalton. Maybe I'm just too high on Andy Dalton, but I looked at Andy Dalton in Cincinnati, and they won a division every year, and he had nobody around him. In Dallas, he's got all kinds of pieces around him. We know he could throw the ball, and I think they're going to use Zeke Elliott like we've not seen him use in several years. And I really like Dallas Monday night.
I like Dallas as well, and which kind of sounds weird because I just said that Kyler Murray is going to have a big game. I think both can and will happen. I think if you ever think the Cowboys are going to win a 20-17 game, you're out of your mind. Not you, but everybody.
Right. Yeah.
Their defense is abysmal.
Right.
So they go into the game knowing at minimum we need 30 to 35 points. The good news for Cowboys fans is I agree with you. I think Andy Dalton is definitely the best backup in the league. And now he's a solid starter. And I said it last show, and I truly believe this. You get 80 to 90% of Dak Prescott at a tenth of the price. And if you look at the throws that Andy Dalton made down the stretch of that game that won them the game, of course, they were playing the Giants, but he put the ball in the money. And that's all he has to do is make the throws. He doesn't have to run around. He doesn't have to be more than he needs to be.
Right.
But I don't think this team has any less of a shot of winning these games with Dalton than they did with Dak.
No, they don't. I think they're better in some ways because they're going to rely on that running game. And with Dak, they were just having to throw it 60 times a game.
They were choosing to throw it 60 times a game.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think now you're going to be forced to feed the ball to Zeke, and Dalton just manage a game, hit his receivers when he needs to. I think it's a much different offense, much more balanced offense. And I think, it'll be close throughout the game, but I think, Dallas scores a late touchdown and wins by 5-7 points.
Yeah, and the thing about the Cowboys is they have a very forgiving schedule. They're gonna play Arizona. They just played the Giants. Then they play Philadelphia. I want to say they have San Francisco, which right now is a pretty easy game compared to how it would have been, before the season started. So they have a very soft schedule the rest of the way. And so they're going to need it because that defense is, like I said, terrible.
Oh yeah, awful. No, the offense can start rolling. This week will be the test. If that offense starts rolling, and that defense, if that offense starts rolling like that, that defense might might start playing a little better. It has a way of working itself out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. If they can improve a little bit. I mean, the standards are so low in that division that if the Cowboys can improve just slightly, they'll take that division.
Absolutely.
For sure. So let's move into some college action. Not a whole lot of big games on the docket this weekend. LSU is going to play at Florida at number 10 Florida.
No, they're not.
They're
That
not.
game has been postponed to December. Florida has, depending on who you talk to, but the latest report I heard was 19 players tested positive for COVID-19. So
That's it?
Postponed to, yeah, I know, right? They postponed to December, but I do still expect them to put up about 50 points in LSU's defense. So that'll be interesting to watch.
From afar, right?
Yeah,
They're going to
right.
put it from afar. So,
Yeah.
so this will be an off week then for your team.
Yes.
Okay,
Both teams
great.
have an off week.
So I have a huge prediction this weekend. I think that LSU is not going to lose this weekend.
If anything could lose right now, it'll be LSU. The game of the week is Georgia and Alabama.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
It's going to be a great game. And of course, Nick will not be there because Nick has also tested positive.
But I read earlier that he might be there.
I heard speculation all day about how he's going to be able to communicate with his coaching staff, and will he be able to communicate? Will he be able to see a live feed of the game? Will he be completely isolated? Will he be able to be on the phone with them? So it'll be interesting to see. What did you hear?
I read somewhere that I wish I could find it. I read somewhere there's a chance he might be there in person at the game. I don't know. I didn't have time to read the whole article. So
or are they going to put like one of those like clear plastic domes around him and just let him stand
I don't
there?
know. Yeah, I don't know. I was listening to Dan Patrick this morning, and they were talking about how fun it would be to see Nick Saban coaching and watching a game from his living room. And they said, "Yo, put it on pay-per-view. Take my money. I'll pay
absolutely.
$50 to watch Saban sit at home." And
Absolutely.
coach.
You see like the glass of water, of course, the clear glass just crashing against the wall.
Yes.
With the pass interference penalty against his secondary. Oh, that would be fantastic. Look, if you had a stadium with 100,000 fans in it, I would see keeping him away. But I don't see the issue with letting him be up in a box, letting him wear a headset, some binoculars, have a monitor. I mean, the rules shouldn't apply in this case of no communication because it's not like it's a penalty. He got the virus.
I agree.
So it's amazing how much he is worth in Vegas based on literally physically standing on the sidelines. Mind you, Steve Sarkisian is the assistant coach, so he would run the show, and he may run the show Saturday. The line literally fell from Alabama -6 to Alabama -3. So he's literally worth a field goal.
I'm going to tell you this. I think Georgia wins this game rather easily. I don't think it'll be a blowout by any stretch of imagination. But with or without Saban, I think Georgia wins this game. Georgia's the only team in the SEC right now playing defense. Alabama's not playing defense. They gave up a ton of points to Ole Miss. Georgia is playing good defense, and they're winning games and looking good doing it. I would pick Georgia all day long in this game.
It wouldn't surprise me to see Georgia win, but Nick is also very, very good against his disciples and his old coaches. So I believe it when I see it, if that makes any sense. It wouldn't surprise me, but it's going to be a good game.
I just found an article. It said Nick Saban is going to just test and test and test and test a bunch of times between now and Saturday. And if he can get 3 negative tests, he's going to coach on the sideline Saturday.
There you go. So just drink a lot of water, Nick, and blow your nose really good. Maybe put some cayenne pepper up there.
I don't think it matters. I think Georgia wins this game comfortably.
There you go. You're going to stick to that. So when it's like 42-10 Alabama, you're going to come back and say you were sorry.
Yeah, I'll try to find some reasoning for it because I just don't see anything to tell me that's going to happen. But
I don't either, honestly, other than the fact that it's Alabama and they're at home and they have the greatest coach in the history of college football.
If they had the crowd, I would give the edge to Bama. But I just think this is like a neutral site, pretty much.
Yeah, you're right. It pretty much is. And it's the first time in 13 years that the Georgia Bulldogs have played in Tuscaloosa or will play in Tuscaloosa. So
Amazing.
it's a long time.
Yeah.
It's definitely a long time. So let's talk a little baseball, Lane. The Braves went up 2-0 quickly on the Dodgers. Game 3 last night, they got obliterated 15-3. And I think all of us were collectively sighing and saying, here we go again.
Yep, a little worried. They did the same thing last year.
Again. Tonight, however, the Braves bounced back and won 10-2.
Wow.
So this was an impressive win when you consider what happened last night. A young team, instead of letting it bother them, they came out and they said, no, we're not going to allow that to happen.
That says a lot about this team.
This team is now up 3-1, and while the series is definitely not over until 7 games are played, you got to feel pretty good about them at this point.
Yeah, no, that shows a lot of resolve to come back and score that many runs after getting blown out. That's I like that. That's a good. That's a sign of a good team right there.
It really is. And, last night, it was an outlier. I mean, this is still a great pitching staff. The Dodgers get 11 runs in the first inning last night, which is just one of those things in baseball. And every now and then you see those innings where it seems like no matter what, you cannot get that third out. And that's what happened. And, some teams have bad nights. The good thing is there's 7 games in these series. So the Dodgers are a good team. They're a powerful team. In no way is this series over. But I think the Braves can definitely wrap it up tomorrow. The other series, of course, going on is the ALCS. Rays jumped out to a 3-0 lead. However, the Astros won last night. The Astros won again tonight. And don't look now, but this series is now 3-2. And I think this is the last team in the world you would want to let hang around if you're the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, yeah. Champions die hard. And it's the Houston has everything to play for. I think they are backs against the wall, and I think they got a grudge, a chip on their shoulder from what's happened. And I think in a way, I think they like being hated.
Oh, and, yeah. They like being the villain.
So, right. They're embracing that role, and they would love nothing more than to get the World Series and shut everyone up and embarrass Major League Baseball.
Yeah. And look, I'm kind of torn because I've always loved Dusty Baker. And it was so strange to me to see him go into this situation where, in my mind, obviously I don't know him personally, but he always seemed like he was a really good guy. And I'm not saying the Astros aren't good people. You get my point.
Yeah.
The cheating scandal, you don't blame everyone, but the point is they have this tainted reputation. So it was kind of a tug of war between, do I like them because of their manager? Do I hate them in spite of their manager? But this is still a good team. I mean, they still have a lot of the pieces from the championship team in 17, and you got to put them away in game 6, because if you let them go to a game 7, you're done, Tampa. You're done.
It's over.
They have more experience than you, and they've got nothing to lose, like you said.
Right. I think Dusty Baker, if you just get in the World Series, forget winning, just getting to the World Series, this cements Dusty Baker's legacy.
Oh, yeah.
In that situation, to deal with what he dealt with coming in.
Yep.
He has done a fantastic job with this team.
Yes, he has. If you're a Rays fan, you got to close it out tomorrow. You just got to close it out tomorrow, because if you don't, it's over.
Absolutely. No, I agree completely.
We're now going to move into a new segment we call
Top 7.
And essentially, it is the top 7 teams according to me and the top 7 teams according to Lane thus far in the season. I will go first.
Number 7.
I have the Cleveland Browns. They're a good football team. They're on the rise. They have a great coach. And honestly, I think the sky's the limit for this team.
Number 6.
I have the Tennessee Titans. I was wrong, as I said, and same applies to them. They have very few weaknesses on the team. Their lack of pass rush would probably be my only nitpicking concern if I had to find one. Other than that, they're a very good team.
Number 5.
Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe they have the elite pass rush, the elite defense, excellent coach, veteran quarterback, solid running game, and overall they're a really good team. So I have Pittsburgh at 5.
Number 4.
I have Seattle at 4. 2 words, Russell Wilson. That's really all I need to say. There's nothing else special about that team. There's no elite units on that team. They have one, and that is their quarterback, and that's all they need because he's playing lights out.
Number 3.
Baltimore Ravens. Although they cannot seem to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, they still have a great coach. They still have a great defense. They still have Lamar Jackson, who is an explosive player, and they can still run the ball all over the field. So I think they're still going to have a good season, and I still think they have a shot to get to the Super Bowl.
Number 2.
Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is playing lights out. He's rivaling Russell Wilson really for MVP right now. This team is 4-0. They're scoring at a alarming rate. Their offense is exploding game after game. As we spoke about earlier, it's going to be interesting to see when they play the number 2 defense in Tampa this weekend how good they really are. But as of right now, I have them number 2.
Number 1.
Kansas City Chiefs. They did lose a game. Losing happens. When you look at them top to bottom, they still have arguably the best coach actively in the league. I'd say number 2 behind Belichick in Andy Reid. They have Pat Mahomes. What else can you say? They have a good run game. Their defense, although really shaky last week, is still better than it was last year. And I think you get to the end of the season, you're still going to have this team as the heavy favorites to win the Super Bowl. So 7-1, Cleveland, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Baltimore, Green Bay, and Kansas City. And the most interesting thing about this list, only 2 teams from the NFC. Never would have thought that coming into this season.
My top 7 is going to look similar, but not quite the same.
Number 7.
Tennessee Titans. I think they looked really good the other night. Love what they're doing. Vrabel's got this team playing at a high level. Defense looks good, so I like Tennessee at 7.
Number 6.
Buffalo at 6 for now. That could definitely change, but I like Buffalo. I like what they're doing, and the loss the other night, it looked bad. It was a really, really bad loss, but being at home, I think they're going to bounce back. I think they'll be okay, so we'll see what they do. I like Buffalo at number 6.
Number 5.
Cleveland, number 5. What else can you say? Baker Mayfield playing great football. Defense playing great. Running game's great. Love Cleveland, number 5.
Number 4.
Pittsburgh, number 4. Been talking Pittsburgh all season. Ben Roethlisberger, the year off, really helped him. That defense is playing at an elite level. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. So I like Pittsburgh a lot. Pittsburgh at 4.
Number 3.
Seattle, Russell Wilson. Nothing more you can say about that. I do think at some point the defense and some of these other players around there at the line, they're going to have to play better. They're going to play some good teams getting down the stretch, and they're going to have to play more than just Russell Wilson. So I would that's the only thing I'd caution with Seattle. But Wilson's still playing out of his mind, so I've got Seattle 3.
Number 2.
Baltimore, Lamar Jackson. Not much else you can say about that. Baltimore looks good. They look just like they did last year. I expect them to still win about the same amount of games. So, like Baltimore, 2.
Number 1.
Kansas City, obviously, Super Bowl champions. Can't go against them. And they got another weapon in Le'Veon Bell today. So, how do you go against Kansas City? So, Kansas City, my number 1 team. Leaves Green Bay out. I hate that. But I love Rodgers. Green Bay, I got questions. They have not played any really good defenses this far, like we talked about earlier. So I want to see more of Green Bay against good teams to see what they do before I put them in the top 7.
That's interesting. So you're a little bit out on Green Bay right now, and that's fine. I mean, they showed last year at that time they were kind of a soft football team when they went up against the Niners. They got smacked around twice. So, some valid points there. I like them more than you do. So we'll see. You like Cleveland and Pittsburgh more than I do. Although I have Pittsburgh at 5, you have them at 4, but we'll see. I mean, the great thing about the NFL is, in 3 weeks, this list could be 5 of the 7 teams different, so you just never know.
You don't, and one other glaring omission on this list is Tampa Bay. I struggled not put Tampa in there because I really do like Tampa Bay, especially the defense.
Oh, I don't think they're anywhere near this list myself. I don't think they're top 10.
I love
not even
that
close.
Defense. I don't know. That defense reminds me a lot of Denver Super Bowl defense.
Oh, not a chance.
They're good. They're really good.
Oh, they're good. They're just not. They're not in that class. I don't see them in that class at all. But time will tell. This weekend will tell.
We'll see.
We'll see if I am wrong for not having Tampa
Yep.
in mine, or if you were wrong for not having Green Bay in yours.
Tampa will climb way up the list if they beat Green Bay, like I say they're going to.
If Tampa smashes Green Bay, then they're in my list next week. I just don't foresee that happening.
Yeah.
Now it's time for Deadlock Picks.
Bring it.
2 picks each. Games we're deadlocking. Absolutely, positively going to win the games. My first game, and this is an interesting one, I like Houston over Tennessee.
Ooh.
I'm deadlocking the Houston Texans in as victors in Tennessee this weekend. Oh, it gets better. My next deadlock pick, the Cleveland Browns in Pittsburgh will win that game.
No. Come on.
2 upsets.
Really?
Lock them in.
Come on.
Your turn.
Nope. All right. I'm going completely against that. I've got Tampa Bay rolling at Green Bay, and I like Dallas to win comfortably against Arizona.
See, that Tampa pick to me is a little bit risky. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it. I don't know.
I think you give Tom Brady 10 days to prepare, coming off an embarrassing loss. Yeah.
Well, if he remembers what down it is, that'll be an improvement, and we'll go on from there.
Yeah. I feel good about that.
That's our show for this week, or for this day, the Thursday show. And any closing thoughts from you, sir?
No, just go Braves. They'll hopefully wrap it up tomorrow. We'll be talking about the Braves and the World Series on Sunday night.
That would be very, very cool.
Be wonderful.
We will see. We will keep our fingers crossed for that.
You know what's worse is they're playing the World Series in Dallas, which is like 3.5 hours away from me.
There you go.
So, of course, the Braves will be in the World Series 3 hours away.
There
and
you
they
go.
can't
And
have fans.
Yeah, they are. They're having fans.
Oh, they are having some fans.
They're having like 10,000. So
you'll never get a ticket for that.
Find a ticket and let's go.
Good luck.
2 tickets.
Definitely.
2 tickets and we are in like Flynn.
Absolutely.
Well, that's going to do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week. And that's going to do it for us for this episode of Bending the Bracket. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to follow our latest content. You can also find us on Facebook or Twitter @Bending Sports. Have a great day.